Mr. Weiner's
Mr. Chairman,
recognized.
I just want to again, and I appreciate Mr. Boyer's passion for this. I just want to make it clear there are differences between the situation at Ground Zero and the situation at the Pentagon. In that the Pentagon, people were protected. But getting back to the substance of the amendment, this represents a change of position by Mr. Boyer. It represents a change of position by the sponsors of the amendment who were here on September 11th. The Victims' Compensation Fund was open to every American who perished that day, every person that perished that day, every person from other countries that perished that day.
Will the gentleman yield to me?
Certainly.
This is the point I just made. If you want to keep this as a discretionary account, I'm with you.
Reclaim my time. It is not. It is a discretionary account. You have the discretionary as a member of Congress to make a 10-year discretionary allocation that is fixed. You keep calling it a mandatory amount only because you seem to be hung up on the idea rather than a one-year program, it's a 10-year program. There is nothing open-ended about it. The number of people, capped. The number of dollars, capped. The number of years, capped. It is every element of discretionary bill you've ever voted on. But getting back to this notion that somehow the undocumented should be treated differently, that represents a reversal. It represents the Victims' Compensation Fund went to those that were not documented. That's simply a fact, because I know this, because many of them are in this nebulous region now that they're people without a country. They've got hundreds of thousands of dollars from the Victims' Compensation Fund, but they can't open a bank account. And I wanted to show you, this is a picture again from the Daily News, people on the pile pulling out. I'll be glad to send this to you. Spot the one that's undocumented. Bet you can't do it, because no one was asking any questions.
Will the gentleman yield?
Let me just finish making my point if I could.
Sure.
Look, the fact of the matter is, this is not some benefit we're giving people. There's no benefit by having 1,000 tons of asbestos breathed into your lungs. There's no benefit by being told by the EPA that the air was safe to breathe when it's not. There's no benefit from standing with your bare hands pulling metal, hoping against hope that one of your friends wasn't pulverized that day. There's no benefit here. No one is asking for a benefit. We're asking to take care of people who are dying, who we've already said as a Congress we want them to be compensated. We did it after September 11th. I have the vote right here that we created a Victims' Compensation Fund, and it voted for, God bless you, by you. Your constituents should be proud of you for that. We're not asking for a benefit. What we're saying is, how are we going to deal with people who showed heroism, who volunteered, who went down to that pile with a paper mask when the chief environmental officer of our country was giving people respirators when they went to the Pentagon, and God bless them for doing that, and said to the people of my city and people who were visiting and people who drove from hundreds of miles to get there, the air is safe. All we're doing is letting them get better health care as they die, Mr. Boyer. That's what we're doing. We don't know where they came from. We don't know why they did it, but thank God they did. It's not a benefit. Stop referring to this as a benefit. And if it is such an important distinction, whether or not this is discretionary or whether or not it is mandatory and whether or not it's entitlement, I will gladly, at any venue you like, say when you want to look at what a discretionary expenditure is, first thing, is it a fixed amount? Check. Second thing, is it a fixed period of time? Check. Third thing, is there a fixed universe of people? Check. I'll have this debate with you. But please, God, the idea that somehow these people benefited when they were working as dishwashers on Windows on the World and they went crashing to their death, that somehow they benefited, or someone who was sitting in a seat on an airline over Shanksville, Pennsylvania, benefited, is just preposterous, I say to my friends.